Hey, what's up, guys? Alright, so I'll be honest with you guys. This chapter kind of threw me for a loop. Like, it kind of completely surprised me because I honestly did not expect us to switch gears from the conversation between Dorothy and Noelle that they were having, especially since we got so little information out of it, over to looking at Gordon's family and finding out more about his backstory. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like this chapter. It's actually probably my favorite chapter so far out of, like, this whole, like, interlude arc that we're doing before we go on the big journey with the rest of the Black Wolves. But I was really expecting this week to continue that conversation, and now it has me wondering, are we just not going to go back to that conversation? Or are we going to go back to it again before they go on their journey? Or are we going to hold off on it until, like, we get to the Heart Kingdom or the Kingdom of Spade and find out more information about Mekikolo? I don't know, I was hoping to get more information out of that conversation and find out exactly what the deal with Mekikolo was. But you know what, I understand why we cut away from it, because it seems like Tabata's trying to take the time during this, like, little interlude before we go on the big journey to give each of the Black Wolf members a time to, like, have a conversation with someone, you know, say their goodbyes or to have some kind of talk and find out more information about the demon. And, you know, now that I think about it, it makes me wonder, alright, if we are doing that, then it's obvious who Vanessa's going to go to. She's going to go talk to her mom, the Witch Queen. But who are Magna, Luck, Gray, Gouch, and trying to think who else, Zora, and Henry? Who are they going to talk to? Because either if they are going to go out and try to find more information out about the demon, then I can't think of anyone those six characters can really talk to find out more information. But when it comes to just saying their goodbyes, then yeah, I can see Gouch going to say goodbye to Maria. I can see Magna, he could probably go say goodbye to that village that we first went on a mission with him with. Luck, I don't think any of his family members are alive anymore. His mom's dead, so there's no one for him. Finral could go have his final moments with Langris. But yeah, really no one besides Gordon and Noelle really have anyone who would actually be able to give them more information about the demon, and Vanessa. So it makes me wonder what their chapters are going to be like. I honestly just can't wait to see what happens when we get to their points of the chapter or their points of this arc. Now I do gotta give some of you guys credit, because after chapter, I want to say, what was it, 220, when Charlotte revealed to Yami that a member of the Black Wolves family has stronger connection to the demon than she did, I saw a few people on there, or in the comment section of the manga stream and the other websites I read, like one or two, maybe three people called out that Gordon's family would be the one with the strongest connection. I personally was calling out Henry, and then Tabata basically drew us for a loop and made us think that, oh, it's actually Noelle because of her mom's connection to it. But no, those three or four people were actually right. It actually was Gordon. And the reason why I didn't even consider Gordon was because of the fact that I had forgotten that Gordon's magic was classified as hex magic, not poison magic. And since it's hex magic, which obviously you know, hex magic, or hex, is basically just a different term for curse. Of course, if he has basically curse magic, then it would make sense that if his family has done or uses that type of magic, that they would have some kind of information on the demon. And that's pretty much what we do in this chapter. We start the chapter with Yami telling Gordon to go visit his family. He sends Gouch, Gray, Nero, and Asta with him. They all go there, and it's pretty much up until the point where we actually get to really talk to the family and find out their personalities. It's pretty much presented as they are kind of like the creepy, evil, demonic, worshipping type of characters. Because we pretty much just spend, like, the beginning of the chapter, we get in Gordon's inner monologue where he's talking about how much he doesn't want to go visit his family, how he kind of basically disowned them, how he hasn't visited them for such a long time. In fact, I think he mentions in the chapter that the last time he went to visit them was only to find out if they can help him with curing Asta's arms when he was affected by that curse. And then once his dad said that he wouldn't help him, he just kind of just walked away from them completely. So yeah, we're basically establishing that they're kind of dicks, at least in Gordon's eyes. And to everyone else who's with him, they kind of just seem like these creepy these creepy characters. And then we meet them, and I could not. Alright, when I read the chapter, when I saw this page, and we got to see his family, I couldn't stop laughing, because literally every single member of his family, from his dad to his fucking dog, has the exact same face as Gordon. They all had that long, pale gray with the dark circles around their eyes face. Even the mom, which Couch even makes a joke in this chapter. He's like, wait. Either you or the dad, when are you two married into this family? How the fuck is it possible that you all had the same exact face? I saw some people commenting on manga screen that maybe it's like that's part of the curse. Maybe they're all like once you become a part of the family, you instantly change your face into that. I'm sure it was just something that the bottom made up as a joke, but still, it was really fun. I could not stop laughing when I read this part of the chapter. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't handle this part of the chapter. But yeah, besides their face, Gordon's family, despite their appearance, has the exact same characteristics as him. They all mumble just like he does. And they all seemingly are very nice. Even though Gordon and everyone else is kind of like, they're put off by them. Especially Gordon because of his history with them. Asta doesn't seem to be really that bothered by them. Even when they put a plate of disgusting looking food in front of him, he starts eating it no problem. And apparently, according to him, it's very delicious. So I guess even though it looks bad, it was still good. But yeah, while they're there, they're just getting more and more creeped out. Gray gets handed something by the little sister, by Gordon's little sister, and the best way I can describe the thing that she hands to Gray is that it looks like that little like trinket or whatever that Griffith had in Berserk. If you ever read Berserk or watched the anime, that like little thing that like starts this process of him turning into a demon. It looks just like that. So of course Gray starts freaking out. She thinks, oh, maybe it's like some kind of like curse or something that she's putting on her, but every step of this like introduction to the family just makes it seem like they're just like Gordon, how they just want to have friends. They just want to be friendly to people. Like they invite them into dinner despite the fact that they look all menacing and that everyone's scared of them. The second someone showed up to their doorsteps, they invite them in. Like the best comparison I can give is that I'm sure Tabata actually took inspiration from this. I'm guessing that like the best comparison would be the Addams Family. How to the rest of the world they seem like the kind of creepy, demonic, stay away from those characters type of people, but once you get to know them, they're very friendly. I mean, besides when it comes to the Addams Family, Wednesday was obviously, the demon. But everyone else was everyone else in the Addams Family is very friendly, very open, very, willing to invite people in. And that's how Gordon's family is. They're all very open and very friendly. The grandma's a little creepy, and I'm actually going to talk about that in a second. But yeah, the family's actually pretty nice. And I'm not sure if this was Tabata trying to give, like, that little insight or that little lesson of, hey, don't judge a book by its cover just because someone looks like a bad guy or someone looks evil doesn't mean that they actually are. I mean, if any character was to represent it, it would be Gordon's family because everyone's scared of Gordon or everyone's creeped out by Gordon, but he is the friendliest, nicest person that we've seen in the entire series. Now, before I get on the information that we end up finding out from Gordon's dad about the demons and their connection to them, I want to quickly mention the fact that during the dinner, Gordon's grandma kind of just like casually name drops Megikulo and talks about the curse. And when I read that part of the chapter, I started freaking out. I started looking around. I was like, wait. Did she literally just say Megikulo's name? Why is no one freaking out about this? And then it dawned on me, that's right. Unless this happened after Noelle's conversation with Dorothy and she told everyone about this, no one else knows what Megikulo is. No one else knows that that's the demon that most likely is going to be the next big demon they fight. And no one else knows that if you talk about the curse in the real world, you instantly fall under its effects. But here's the thing. I was also freaking out in this chapter when she mentioned it because it's like, she just casually name dropped it like she talks about it all the time. Doesn't mean she should be under the effects of the curse. And the only thing I can think of as to why she wouldn't be affected by it is because during that same conversation, she mentions the fact that their family had a contract with Megikulo and that they've been fulfilling it for generations. So maybe because of the fact that they have a contract with it, that they can actually mention it without fearing the effects of the curse. And, this also now begs the question, I just thought of this. Because, alright, we find out later on in the chapter after the scene that Gordon's dad, with his generation, he changed things. Their family used to be the way that everyone kind of perceives them. But with his generation, he's been changing so that instead of using their curse magic to basically affect people or, like, do damage to other people or kill people, he's been trying to find ways to use that curse magic to heal people. He's basically become like a doctor. And he was actually hoping that Gordon would follow in his footsteps. But I'm wondering if the previous generations actually were the reason why Noelle's mom, like someone from the previous generation was actually the one who placed the curse on Noelle's mom. Maybe that's what happened. Because if the curse is from Megikulo and they're the ones who worship him and have kind of like a contract with him, it would make sense that their hex magic would be the ones that would be affected on her. Or that they would be the ones to place Megikulo's curse on her. And now this begs the question, it's the same thing with Charlotte. Is Charlotte's family actually affected by a curse from Megikulo? Or is this is this like an entirely different demon? I'll kind of talk about Charlotte in a second because that kind of plays with a theory that gets brought up later on in the chapter. But yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind. Maybe Charlotte, her curse is actually a result of something that happened with Gordon's family. And you know what? Now that I think about it, this also begs the question. Literally just thought of this as well. Since Gordon's dad has moved away from doing the practices that are under the contract that they have with Megikuo, does that mean that he's going to void the contract? Does that mean that it's going to have negative effects on them? Like maybe in the future, now that his dad is not moving towards a whole like demon sacrifice or worshiping the demons anymore, instead is trying to use her hex magic to heal people instead. Maybe that will cancel the contract they have. So once once the next time the grandma, nonchalantly drops Megikuo's name and talks about the curse, she'll actually have to feel the effects of it. So it's kind of pretty clear that Tabata got inspiration for Gordon's dad from like the idea of witch doctors, which he does kind of follow the same practices that they had, besides the fact that he doesn't experiment on living people or seemingly dead people at all, which is actually what Gordon thought his dad did. He thought his dad followed in the footsteps of their family and was doing human experiments on people who were both alive and dead. So that's the kind of reason why he kind of just walked away from the family. So you could tell in this chapter, after he found out the truth about his dad, he kind of felt like a complete asshole. But then again, his dad does kind of, present things in the wrong way. Like, even in this chapter, when he shows that he actually isn't doing, like, human experiments, or he's trying to move the family away from what they originally were, he chose to do it by seemingly attacking Asta and the rest of them. Even though he was only using his magic to kind of take their temperature and check out their bodies to see if there's, like, any illnesses or anything like that, he still was seemingly, like, as far as they were concerned, he was attacking them. So, he should have, communicated better what he was trying to do. But still, he used his magic to figure out what's up with Asta's body, realized that there was nothing really wrong with it besides the fact that he can't use magic. And that's how Gordon found out that his dad was more of a healer than he was, like, a hex magician. And you know what? This revelation could actually lead to some interesting developments for Gordon in the future. Because, alright, his dad, right now, even though he is moving everything away from, studying curses effects on humans and how it could possibly use to basically heal them, he still was only skilled enough to basically cure like common illnesses like a cold or like pneumonia or something like that. And that's the reason why when Gordon went to him for help with Asta's arms, that he couldn't help out because he wasn't skilled enough to do it. And he was actually hoping that Gordon would follow in his footsteps and use his poison magic or his hex magic that focuses on poison to find new ways to cure people of poisons and stuff like that. But since Gordon walked away from the family, obviously he didn't follow those footsteps. But now that he does know that information, maybe Gordon will actually learn from his dad, and we would actually see him learning some healing magic. Because there's one thing that the Black Bolts have. We have a lot of power on the team. We have some people who are good with transportation and some speed, but no one on the team is really that skilled at healing. I mean, sure, we have Charmy who can recover your mana for you. We have Vanessa who can use Rogue to basically nullify any attack by rewinding time and changing fate. But aside from Nero, who has limited healing with her sealing magic, there's not really a healer on the team. But if Gordon ends up following in his dad's footsteps, he could actually become like the team's healer, which is something that they desperately need. Especially if they're going to be going outside the capital where they won't have someone like Mimosa or the head doctor at the capital to go to whenever they're damaged. So yeah, we kind of get a lot of information dropped on us in this chapter. Even though it was meant to be, as far as I'm concerned, a comedic chapter, this chapter did drop a lot of information on us. And possibly the most important information is near the end of the chapter when we see Gordon's dad use his magic to create a map of the entire Clover Kingdom. And on this map, he has candles. And when the candle is lit, that spot basically represents a place where a demon's curse is being affected. And the stronger, brighter, and bigger the flame, the stronger the curse is. And when we look at the candle, we see inside the Clover Kingdom there's two noticeable spots that are being lit up. And one of them we get revealed as Henry, which confirms my suspicion that Henry's illness is actually the effects of a curse. Now, we don't get a confirmation on the other one. I would guess it would be Charlotte. But since the elf cured Charlotte's curse, I don't know exactly who it could be. Unless I'm wrong about Charlotte's curse being cured, maybe it's back to normal. But I'm pretty sure I remember the elf saying that it cured her curse. So I'm wondering who that other second flame that was very noticeable could be. But other than that, if you notice during that page when we're looking at the map, besides those two like noticeable flames, there were a lot of mini flames, like very, very small, very faint flames throughout the map, which goes to show that the Clover Kingdom is actually more affected by demon curses and hex magic or curse magic or forbidden magic than we initially thought. And that actually could lead to some interesting developments later on. Like, even though the Black Bulls are leaving, obviously we'll check in with some of the other characters inside the Clover Kingdom later parts in the series. So maybe when we actually check in with them, we'll see them dealing with the effects of maybe some of those mini curses that some of the other people throughout the kingdom have. It will be a great way to basically keep us interested in these characters and actually get us to go back to the Clover Kingdom every now and then and take a break from the main cast. Now, what's really interesting is after he shows us the map of the Clover Kingdom, his dad decides to expand out his horizon to the other 3 kingdoms as well. And he mentions the fact that when he expands it that far, it is very hard to get an accurate reading on a curse. But what ends up happening is that he actually gets a very strong, even stronger than the ones from inside the Clover Kingdom that he got on Henry and possibly Charlotte inside the Heart Kingdom, which leads to the theory I had, because I'm not sure if I left it in the video for my last week's review or not, but I had a theory that the origins of Charlotte's curse actually come from the Heart Kingdom, because if you look at the silhouetted character that placed the curse on her family, they look like they had a very nature vibe to them. And as we know, the Heart Kingdom is actually very devoted to nature. It specifies on nature. So maybe think that maybe the character that placed the curse on our family actually, came from the Heart Kingdom. So with the revelation that the Heart Kingdom actually has this giant curse energy or this giant demonic energy on it, maybe my theory actually was kind of right. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all that happens in the chapter except for the video. I can't wait to see what happens next week. I love the hell out of the chapter. So far, it's been my favorite chapter out of the whole interlude little arc that we're doing. I can't wait to see what happens next week if we continue this conversation between Gordon, Gauch, Gray, Asa, and Nero with Gordon's dad. If we go back to the conversation between Noelle and Dorothy. Or maybe we're going to go with one of the other characters. Like maybe we'll get to see what's going on with Vanessa when she goes back to visit the Witch Queen. If she gets up going back there. Or see what's happening with Magna, Lux, anyone. But yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like. Subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below with your thoughts and theories. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.